Hello, DFC, and welcome back to another edition of OSSLT Prep. Today is part 2 of our lesson on how to write a news report. If you're watching this video, hopefully it is March 3rd, and I'm just going to briefly review what we're doing today. So please watch this video. I'm going to post a link right here, and you can see slides 3 to 10. This is a review from last week of actual news stories written about this question. And I just want you to watch this video and read through the slides by next week. And then just read through the slides. So that's it for the task. This is just how the news report will be marked. You'll get us one of these marks. And to pass the literacy test, you need a mark of 75% or higher. So you want to focus on getting a code 50 or ideally a code 60. And last week and this week, I'm going to show you how to get a code 60. So these are just some real examples that actual, not DFC students, but other Ontario students have written. This is a code 10, and it explains here at the bottom why it got the score that it did. So you don't want to write like a code 10. The code 10 basically just ended right here. You'll have approximately 18 lines. And our news story, or the one that I made, is in that length. So they'll give you a different headline, a different picture, and then you just write an 18-line news story that matches both the headline and picture. So just scrolling down, this is what a code 60 looks like. So they used the whole page, approximately 18 typed lines. So there'll be more lines here because it's handwritten. And they just blacked out the names of schools, names of people. But the reason why it got a mark is that you're making up a news story, but you want to provide that news story with enough believable details to make it seem like, okay, this is an actual news story written for an actual newspaper. You want to organize your ideas into sentences and paragraphs and link sentences with each other. And finally, you want to have quotations or words, and remember, you're just making all these details up, but of words that people would say if the story were real. So last week, I hope this video will make a lot more sense if you watch last week's video, part 1. But I brainstormed these ideas. So I took the headline. You'll have a different headline on the actual literacy test. But in paragraph 1, that's called your lead. And this is where you want to introduce your news story by answering the who, what, where, when, why, and how. So I brainstormed that. Paragraph 2, this is where you will include quotations of people who are involved in the story. And I'll show you what remember, this part is just the outline. I'll show you what the completed news story looks like. So I just made up 3 quotations by 3 people. Sharon is a real person. She's our principal. By Ken Anderson, Sam Kiesek. I just made up those names and gave them titles. Grade 11 student, grade 9 teacher. So these are people who would be involved at that time. And then finally, paragraph 3. This is where you'll have additional details that can support or help complete your story. So I just included some extra details to help flesh out or develop the story to make it more believable. That's your goal, is to make a believable story. So that when you're reading it, be like, wow, what newspaper is this from? And if you can do that, then you'll have no problem getting a code 60, which is your highest scoring mark. All right, so good news is you don't have to write a news story this week. On the actual test, you will, yes. But I want you to just pause this video right here and just read the news story that I was written. I added some words and a few more details just because I had room. It's not quite 18 lines. I think it's 17 lines. So if you have additional time and space, add in those extra details. But paragraph 1 right here, this is my lead. I included all the details from here. And I didn't use quite 6 sentences. I combined, say, 3 details in 1 sentence. That's fine. But right here, 1 paragraph, that's my lead. I answer the who, what, where, when, why, and how in 1, 2, 3, and 4 sentences. You don't need 5 paragraphs. 5 paragraphs are, or 5-sentence paragraphs are more for essays rather than news reports. And then, so that's paragraph 1, your lead. Paragraph 2 are all about quotations. So I took these details and I just turned them into sentences to help flesh out this paragraph. And then finally, my tail, I took these details, I added a few more of my own, but all that information from paragraph 3 in the outline is in this tail paragraph here. I did add an extra line just about there'll be a grand unveiling of the new school grounds on September 28th, which the public can buy tickets for. I had an extra line, so I'm like, hey, why not? The more detail you put in, the better. All right. So please pause the video right now, take some time to read it, just to see what a Code 60 report could look like. And if you want to compare it to an actual student example, there's one right here on slide 10. So mine's a little longer just because I wanted to use all 18 lines. All right, so this week you don't have any writing to do. Just please read through all the slides, watch the video, and that's it. If you have any questions, I'll be on Google Meet as usual during our scheduled time, which is 11:35 to 12:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it'll be 1 hour back if you're on the res. All right, everyone. That's it for this week, and I hope to see you next week. Have a great day. Bye.